Hi, this is Steve Huster from Business Backbone. I'm going to be taking you through a demonstration of DiGA, a reporting tool for Excel. If you want to find out some more information, you can go to our Business Backbone website here and go to the relevant DiGA page. I've already signed up and logged in. If I just move across to this browser tab here, you can already see I've logged in as my demonstration user here. And I've got a list of clients. And in my client list here I've actually got 3 receipt bank clients currently. So I'm going to be building a dashboard for one of these clients, which I can then use as a template to refresh data for another client for. I'll just minimize this and fire up Excel. When Excel fires up, it will have the Business Backbone task pane enabled, and if I just log in here with the same credentials that I logged in via the web, the system will validate me as an authorized user and give me my client selector. So at this point I can now pick a particular client, so I'll pick up my receipt bank client, and we've got a list of actions, and within receipt bank we've got the option to get receipts. So I'm just going to click on go here, so that will return the receipt bank data for that particular client directly into Excel for me, and format that as a table called receipts, and also rename the worksheet receipts as well. So at this point I could use standard Excel capabilities to filter, sort, group and do various Excel type things with the data. My preference is to use pivot tables, so I'm going to take the option at the top here to summarise with pivot table. So you can click anywhere in the table, click on summarise, and the Excel gives you the option to create a pivot table based on the receipts range that we've just imported. If I click on OK, that will give me the new pivot table creation screen on the left and also a list of fields. At this point I can actually minimise my Backbone task pane. So if we get cracking, what I'm going to do, I want to do some analysis of what I've spent. So I'm going to pick up a category, which drops into the pivot table here on the left hand side automatically. I also want to know how much I've spent by category, and I also want to be able to understand some general date analysis. With the dates I also want, using the pivot table capabilities, I prefer those on the columns. So I can now see for all my categories what I spent day by day. With the date being treated as a date field, that will automatically give me within Excel the capability to group. So I can quite easily group all of my expenses by month. So I can now see what I've spent month by month. I'll just minimise this list here. So within the pivot table, I can now start to tidy this up a little bit, so I can actually go into the number format and say actually I'd like that displayed as a currency value. I can also go into the view options here and just remove my grid lines, so I prefer to see it without that. And if I go into the design, within the pivot table you've got various design options here that I can just hover over and see what preference I prefer. Okay, so we'll pick that one for the time being. And if I just go back to the home page here, what's one of the great things with Excel and pivot tables, so I've not touched the data here, it's come live from Backbone, which has obtained the data directly from the receipt bank system. What I'm going to be able to do is just highlight one of the values here. I'm going to use something called conditional formatting. So pick up conditional formatting, and I'm just interested in what my top 10 items are across the year and my categories. So I'll just say, right, okay, give me my top 10 items, and I'm going to highlight those in a various format. And Excel provides some standard formats, so we'll go for a green, treat it as a positive number. So if I click on OK, that's now formatted that individual cell. If I click on this little button here to the side for formatting options, I can now apply that formatting across all cells showing the same information. So without having to go anywhere else, I can immediately see where my top 10 items are across my data set. So I might want just to tidy this up a bit further and just say this is my category analysis, and maybe save that as onto my computer and just dump that onto the desktop, and we'll call that book 2. So I've done that for one particular client. What the system will now allow me to do, if I go back to the receipts page here and just fire up my DiGA task pane again, I can actually pick an alternate client. So I might actually say, okay, I want to see that same analysis across a different client by doing the refresh of the receipts for that particular client. That'll load that client's data in, giving me the option to go back to the category analysis, and if I right click anywhere on the pivot table and just say refresh, immediately you can see that the data is now representative of the other client, and the top 10 highlighting for my top 10 items spend for the year is also changed as well. So okay, well that's this short demo just to give you an overview of the reporting capability for Receipt Bank with DiGA. Thank you very much for your time. If you have any questions, please feel free to drop me a line, steve@businessbackbone.co.uk. Thank you.